You Ruto, we are coming for you. You Raila, we are coming for you. You Kalonzo, we are coming for you. All the entire ministers of the fucking shit regime.
On this same channel, on this same seat, this same setup, I boldly said that Africa will unite again. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm talking to you right now, something serious, another coup has happened in La Côte d'Ivoire.
A political earthquake has just shaken West Africa. Reports of a coup in the Ivory Coast are spreading fast, and at the center of it all is Burkina Faso's young revolutionary leader, Ibrahim Traoré. As whispers of military uprisings echo from Nigeria to Uganda, one thing is clear: the movement to reclaim African sovereignty is gaining steam. What really happened in the Ivory Coast? And how is Traoré becoming the unexpected symbol of unity across a restless continent?
Coup rumors rock Ivory Coast. Look at this. The streets of Abidjan are in chaos. Protesters are flooding government buildings. The army is divided. An unconfirmed report suggests that President Alassane Ouattara has fled the country. But this isn't just another political crisis. It's a seismic shift. Because what's happening in Ivory Coast isn't just about poverty, or power, or politics. It's about the end of French hegemony in West Africa, the rise of American military influence, and the growing anger of a population that's had enough.
Major breaking news: there is a coup going on in Ivory Coast. This is the best news that I woke up to. It's believed that the government, they have even cut off the internet, people, so that people will not be communicating with other people outside. People are on the street. They took it on the street due to their frustration. People, they are burning buildings. They are shouting. They are tired of their president. Can you believe all this? It's believed that the president is hiding right now, but it's not confirmed yet. The news is not confirmed yet. The government have not said anything about all this, although a lot of people, they are posting the situation right now.
Whispers in the savannah, the Ivory Coast rumors. In the bustling streets of Abidjan, the air was thick, not with the familiar scent of grilled plantains or the ocean breeze from the Gulf of Guinea, but with whispers, rumors, that a coup d'etat had erupted, that the corridors of power were rattling under the boots of soldiers, that President Alassane Ouattara had vanished like morning mist under a rising sun. Phone screens lit up with shaky videos showing columns of soldiers, the bark of gunfire, panicked crowds, and sirens that sounded like wails of uncertainty. WhatsApp groups exploded with voice notes, some frightened, others furious. TikTok clips, stripped of context, were reshared across borders like wildfire, feeding a collective anxiety. Fear spread faster than truth.
Let's break it all down. What led to this moment, what's at stake, and how it could reshape the balance of power on the African continent. Thousands of demonstrators have filled the streets, demanding the removal of President Alassane Ouattara, citing years of human rights abuses, corruption, and economic stagnation. But what sparked this sudden explosion? 3 key events in the past month have pushed the population over the edge. 1. Ouattara appointed his own brother as Minister of Defense, a move widely condemned as dynastic and authoritarian. 2. A secretive agreement was signed with the United States, specifically with U.S. General Michael Langley, to construct a U.S. drone base, the first in West Africa. 3. The president suddenly disappeared from public view.
But when the dust settled, truth stood tall. President Ouattara appeared publicly, calm and unshaken, chairing cabinet meetings, shaking hands, addressing his people. The supposed footage of the coup? From another country, another timeline, a ghost of conflict dressed in camouflage. Still, it wasn't the fake news that truly made Ivorians tremble. It was the speed at which their world seemed to spin out of control. The rumors weren't just fiction, they were a mirror, reflecting how fragile peace can feel when the scars of past conflicts still throb beneath the surface. Ivory Coast, like many of her sisters on the continent, carries deep scars: civil war, political unrest, betrayed promises, a fragile calm that often masks an undercurrent of unresolved tensions. So even a whisper, a false one, can shake the very ground beneath people's feet, because they know it's not impossible. That's the real danger, not the lie, but the plausibility of it.
Now, according to a lot of people, they are saying that the main reason for this coup, alleged, for this alleged coup is because the USA moved their militaries and their drone centers into La Côte d'Ivoire. They moved them from Niger, passed through Burkina Faso, from this Sahel state to La Côte d'Ivoire, and that is why this is happening. Now, before I continue, let's go and watch this video. The new American base in Ivory Coast, a launching point for dominance and military intelligence control in West Africa.
Winds of change. Traoré's thunder rolls across Africa. While Abidjan wrestled with its phantom coup, a different kind of storm was brewing to the north. Not a tempest of fear, but one of defiance. A thunder that carried clarity and conviction. The name rising with the storm, Captain Ibrahim Traoré.
There's a reason people whisper his name with both hope and fear. Ibrahim Traoré, the man who shook Burkina Faso awake, not with speeches, but with action.
Let's get you more on this evolving situation in Burkina Faso.
Ibrahim Traoré.
Ibrahim Traoré. Burkina Faso.
Before he came, Burkina Faso was a name most people couldn't find on a map. It was silent, invisible. But now, the world is watching, and for good reason. Something is happening in this landlocked nation, something bold, something unstoppable. Traoré didn't just take power, he took a broken system and started rebuilding it from the ground up. And what he's building has never been done before. Not in Burkina Faso, not at this scale. Massive roads where there was once only dust.
The young soldier turned leader of Burkina Faso, barely in his mid-30s, is no typical politician. He doesn't parade in expensive suits or read from polished teleprompters. His words are rough-hewn and raw, spoken in the tones of a man who has seen both the battlefield and the broken hopes of his people. He speaks of a united Africa, free from imperialist chains, rooted in dignity and rich in its own might. He seized power not for prestige, but for purpose, for vision, for liberation. In 2023, he expelled French forces from Burkina Faso with the same composure you'd use to dismiss an unwanted guest. Thank you. We'll take it from here. His eyes turned eastward, to Russia, to China, to Turkey, nations that may deal from the deck of self-interest, yes, but without the colonial sermons. But Traoré is not only negotiating in embassies, he's present in the bush, with farmers tilling the land, in schools, speaking to children with chalk dust on their fingers, in stadiums and rallies, surrounded by youth chanting Afrique libre ou la mort, free Africa or death. His dream is seismic, a single African passport, a unified military pact across borders, a sovereign currency, decoupled from Paris, backed by the resources under African soil, where gold, cobalt, and cocoa are not exported raw, but refined, processed, and sold by African hands for African futures. Many scoff and call him a dreamer, but in Africa, dreams are sacred. Dreams carved pyramids, dreams toppled empires, dreams freed Mandela, and Traoré's dream is becoming a storm, one that can't be bottled. The war for truth, misinformation as the new colonial weapon. We live in the age of viral fiction, where facts are hunted, slaughtered, and replaced with seductive lies. In this digital jungle, misinformation is the new colonial rifle, aimed not at bodies, but at minds.
Cutting ties with France and aligning more closely with Russia and other military-led Sahelian regimes. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has banned French media outlets, expelled Western diplomats, and intensified its fight against jihadist groups, often in secretive, controversial ways. Captain Ibrahim Traoré quickly emerged as a prominent figure in African politics, with many drawing parallels between him and the legendary Congolese leader Patrice Lumumba. Like Lumumba, Traoré has taken a bold anti-imperialist stance, rejecting Western influence.
The fake coup in Ivory Coast? Not a prank. It was psychological warfare, a test of instability, a carefully crafted campaign to fracture public trust, create panic, and destabilize a country that dares to entertain sovereign thought. It's not isolated, it's strategic. It's happening across the continent. Traoré is a prime target. As his influence grows, so does the avalanche of disinformation. Claims that he fuels coups across West Africa, that he harbors warlords, that he plots with shadowy actors. None verified, all suspiciously timed. But the youth, Africa's greatest weapon, see through the fog. They know the game. They've seen the hands behind the curtain, sometimes in military fatigues, sometimes in tailored suits, sometimes sipping espresso in plush embassies while whispering in generals' ears. If Africa is to rise, she must guard her truth. She must build her own digital infrastructure, control her data, and narrate her own story. We need African-owned platforms. We need cybersecurity experts not imported, but trained in Bamako, Dakar, Kinshasa. Because if we don't tell our stories, someone else will, and they'll turn them into weapons. Ivory Coast's fragile harmony, a people yearning for more. Even though the coup was a mirage, the unease in Ivory Coast is real. The silence between the lies was loud. The country remains haunted by the ghosts of past conflicts, 2002, 2010, 2011, etched into collective memory. Beneath the skyline of Abidjan and the cocoa fields of Yamoussoukro lies a nation that wants more than just peace. Ivorians want progress with dignity. They want jobs, honest wages, clean water, schools with roofs, roads without potholes, hospitals that heal, not hurt. They are tired of speeches, tired of politics that divide along old lines of ethnicity and partisanship, tired of promises that never reach the village. This is why someone like Traoré becomes more than a Burkina Faso hero. He becomes a regional symbol. He embodies what millions quietly yearn for: bold, unapologetic change, leadership that doesn't bow, that doesn't borrow, that acts. Ivory Coast, like much of West Africa, stands at a crossroads. One path leads back to old games where foreign powers and local elites decide destinies in salons. The other path moves forward toward grassroots empowerment, regional solidarity, and a people-first agenda. The echoes of Sankara, Traoré's revolutionary bloodline.
Thomas Sankara was a man ahead of his time. Thomas Sankara challenged the conventional ways of doing things, leaving a lasting impression on his countrymen during his 3.5 years in office. Often called the African Che Guevara, Sankara was a visionary who changed the name of his homeland from its colonial name, Upper Volta, to Burkina Faso, the land of the upright. As the president of Burkina Faso, one of the poorest countries in Africa, he sought to change the lives of Burkinabe for good. He held that position until 1987 when he was killed during a coup, which had been organized by his longtime friend, Blaise Compaoré.
To understand Traoré, we must revisit the legacy of Thomas Sankara, the upright man. Sankara, Burkina Faso's beloved revolutionary, was more than a president. He was an icon of Pan-African dignity. He refused aid that came with shackles. He traded limousines for bicycles, planted trees instead of hosting summits, renamed his country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, the land of upright people. Traoré does not share Sankara's blood, but he walks in his footsteps with unwavering intent. He slashed ministers' salaries, banned exploitative foreign companies, redistributed land, invested in local production over foreign dependency, and just like Sankara, Traoré has made enemies. Those who smile in public but plot in private. Those who say democracy but mean compliance. Those who chant stability but fear the voice of the poor. Every African knows, when you fight for the people, you often die for them. Sankara did. Will Traoré? That question lingers like a shadow. But for now, he moves with the strength of something more powerful than security forces, the will of his people.
Now, Africa's youth population, over 60% under 25, is projected to grow with more young Africans entering the workforce by 2035 than the rest of the world combined. Now, the digital transformation can address youth employment challenges, but 3 in 4 youth lack relevant digital skills. Collaborative efforts are needed to equip youth with digital skills and also access to technology.
When youth rise, the fire that can't be silenced. Africa stands as the youngest continent on Earth, with over 60% of its population under the age of 25. This is more than just a statistic, it's a force. Across the continent, from the universities of Accra to the tech hubs of Nairobi, from Lagos to Lubumbashi, the youth are no longer waiting. Inspired by leaders like Traoré, they are mobilizing, not merely cheering from the sidelines, but actively shaping the future. The questions have changed. No longer is the focus on foreign aid, but on self-reliance. How do we help ourselves? Build without begging? protect what's ours. This generational shift signals a revolution in thought and purpose. Yet, energy without direction can descend into chaos. The passion of revolution must be matched with the discipline of structure. Sovereignty means little without good governance. To avoid repeating past failures, young Africans must do more than rise. They must build. They must create new institutions, launch innovative businesses, and shape cultural norms that reflect the Africa they envision. This is the moment for a new legacy, not one of dependency, but of power, creativity, and self-determined progress. The future of the continent depends on it. Toward a united Africa, a vision, or a possibility. They laughed when Gaddafi dreamed of a United States of Africa. They mocked the vision of one currency, one passport, one army. But who's laughing now? In a world fracturing into NATO here, BRICS there, Africa's division remains its greatest weakness. Yet Traoré is not alone in his vision. Across the Sahel, Mali, Guinea, Niger, Chad, nations are forging real alliances, military, economic, ideological. ECOWAS, once celebrated as a beacon of peace, risks becoming a relic, an emblem of outdated alliances too slow to meet today's urgent challenges. Imagine a single African passport that would unleash the potential of labor mobility, trade, and tourism across the continent. A unified defense pact could finally end the endless cycle of foreign bases on African soil, reclaiming true sovereignty. And a new currency, backed by Africa's wealth in gold, oil, and innovation, could shatter the colonial chains of the CFA franc once and for all. This dream is not new, but what is new is the urgency. Africa's youth are no longer willing to wait. The global community watches closely. The continent stands at a crossroads: continue as a fragmented playground for empires, or rise united as one powerful force shaping its own destiny. The time to choose is now. Africa's future depends on it. The way forward: truth, courage, unity. Ivory Coast didn't fall, but it saw how close the edge was. A single spark could have lit a blaze. The fight ahead is not just over borders or resources, it's a battle for the soul, for control of the narrative, for truth, for the sovereignty of the mind as much as the land. Traoré's rise is no passing moment. It's a turning point, authored by a generation done with silence, with suffering, with dependence. Africa is not poor. She is plundered. Not weak, wounded. But now, she is rising. And with her rise comes a wave of minds that are bold, black, and brilliant, ready to shape the 21st century on their own terms. From Ouagadougou to Abidjan, the winds carry a new rhythm. A rhythm of resistance, of renewal, of pride. Let the truth be louder than propaganda. Let unity silence division. Let the continent speak, no longer in fractured tones, but with clarity and power. This is not a cry for help, it's a call to action. Africa's time has come, and no whisper, no tweet, no bullet will mute her voice. She is awake, and the world will hear her speak for herself. Whether seen as a liberator or a lightning rod, Ibrahim Traoré's rise is reshaping the future of Africa. As coup rumors swirl and alliances form, the continent stands at a crossroads between foreign influence and true independence. What's next for Ivory Coast, and will other nations follow? If you're watching history unfold, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Africa is changing, and the world is watching.